All right, welcome family. Welcome to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can tune in. So hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Another day that I didn't plan on going live, but here we are. Got some really interesting stories here for y'all that you definitely gonna need to, because this what we've been talking about, man, has been going it's very fluid, and it's, and so I think it's important to keep our eyes on this for a little bit, and that's what we're going to do. And but again, so glad that you guys can tune in, and we just give people another minute to join in. In the meantime, you can go ahead and go, if you like what you're hearing. This is just a clip from our album that we have called Sound Time. It's over on SMBA Tree. That is sambatree.com. And if you go under new arrivals, you'll find it there. It's $4.99. And as soon as you pay for it, you get the link to the instant download, and you'll be able to access it just like that. Okay. But anyway, we're going to give people about maybe another half a minute now as people coming in, and we're going to go ahead and get on this thing here, what we're going to be talking about this evening. Actually, we're going to be talking about two topics tonight. As you can see, the first one we're going to be talking about is, going into, I came across some information today, matter of fact, is an investigative reporter. She's actually local here, and she's been doing a little digging on a college campus not too far away from here. And she found that there's an organization on campus, which happens to be I'm putting in air quotes black, because it's the title of it. When you hear the organization's name, it kind of sounds like one of those AstroTurf kind of groups where they may only have one black person on there, so that it legitimizes them enough to be a black organization. I really don't know. I know their name. I've tried to look for pictures of the menu of the members. I can't find it, so I don't know. But that's what they call themselves, and that's what we're just gonna go with that. But we're not so much talking about the organization, but with this individual that was caught red-handed, not only spying on them, but actually working hand in hand with the police, and also working with another organization as well. So we're going to get into that. Also, we're going to talk about what's going on in the country of Malawi. You know, I just have to, I was going to ask y'all, do you want me to be, can I be real tonight when I talk about when I cross the Atlantic and I'm talking about Africa? Or do you just want me to be like, just be careful now what you say? Because I'm telling you, every time I open my mouth about what's going on in Africa, I always get the people over there and they're like, what are you talking about? They start going off on me or whatever. And I'm just like, listen, I'm an outsider, but what I'm seeing here, I don't know anybody inside or out would be down with that. Okay. But I'm just going to tell it like it is. I think there was a video that I would play, but I'm not going to play on this platform. I don't know if any of y'all seen it, but there's a video that's been floating around today. There was two workers. I don't know where they were in Africa, but they were African workers, and they were in like this trailer, inside this trailer, and it was a Chinese man. He was demonstrating to them the Belt and Road Initiative. And what I mean by that, this dude literally took his belt off and was beating the huss, like the country folks saying. He was, just going wham, 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 wham. Just beating them and beating them. And they were just sitting up there just taking it. And I was just like, what in the world? And so, yeah, I'm not playing that video. There's no way in the world I could play it on this platform. Like, absolutely no way I could play it on this platform. It's, it's something. But anyway, we're going to get into it. And so, So anyway, let me go ahead and bring this up on the screen real quick, and then we'll jump in and get started. So again, if you haven't heard by now, make sure you check out SMBA Tree. That's SAMBA Tree.com. And this is the place here where we have a lot of things for our health. We're going to be doing, I believe, a broadcast soon, Nicole and I, and we're just going to be going over some things and doing some how-to stuff and all of that. That will be coming very soon. I'm not telling you when, because I get in trouble on this side anytime when I start putting dates on stuff, but I'll let you know. Where we'll be talking about different things on here, giving people, maybe doing some demos and stuff like that. Everything from bitters to different types of teas, herbs, powders, all kinds of stuff. Do your body a favor and take the time and go through the site. We have soursop tea. We have, if it doesn't say out of stock, we should have it. Okay. And big shout out, especially to all of our customers who've been very patient. We have been, for some of the products, unfortunately, we've been running a little bit of delay in receiving them from the distributor, but it's coming, and we try to let you know. The big thing is, we tell all of our customers is that, listen, there's two things. One, sometimes if something's going to be delayed for a little bit longer than what it should be, what we will do is on your order, we will write down on your order sheet and let you know, hey, listen, we sent you this, and this of your order, but these other parts, they're coming very, very soon. We're just waiting for it to come in, okay? So if you open your box and you get your order and let's say you're like, where's everything else? It's coming, okay? We just don't want to hold everything else up and just have it all sitting here. We just want to get it to you as quickly as we can. And so that's number one. Number two, That's going to be my project, I think, for this evening. Our email, for some reason, because we get people saying, I emailed and I've been emailing, I ain't getting no response. And we do respond. And what happens a lot of times is that emails get caught in spam folders and things like that. And so please make sure that you check all your folders and make sure that, you don't see a response in there. Then you can reach out to us and then we'll get on top of it and let you know what's up and all of that. Okay. So big shout out and much thanks and appreciation to each and every one of our wonderful customers out here. And we're going to be adding some new things here, I'm sure, pretty soon. So keep your eyes up and keep your ears open. And I think we're going to have another newsletter go out this week. And so we try to keep people informed. So while I'm at it, make sure you sign up for the email list. Just go to SMBATree.com. As soon as you get to the homepage, there should be something that pops up that will ask you to, provide your email. Don't worry, we don't give your email to anybody else. Okay, we don't do that. That's just stank, I think, when people do that. I'm just showing you different things that we have here, the downloadable phone wallpapers. For those of you who are just looking to get some nice phone wallpapers for your phone, for your mobile device, these are stuff that we have designed here. You can check. This is just some of them here. I think I forgot how many I have on here, and I got to get back to it and add some more. So we'll be adding more to that soon, and a lot more there. So again, the website is SMBA SMBATree.com. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's join in and get into the main thing we're going to be talking about. Okay, so let me pull this article up here, and let's get started. All right, so you guys remember the other day I did a video where we talked about this gentleman here who came out with this bill. Now, this is a separate bill from the bill that we were talking about yesterday. This is another one they got out here. My guess is since they passed the anti-Semitism bill yesterday, this one will be probably they will end up adding it as an amendment to the existing bill. That's what I think that is going to end up happening. But just as a refresher, this guy here, he's a pro-Israel House Democrat, and they said and Republican, plan to introduce legislation creating federally sanctioned anti-Semitism monitors for select college campuses, and they're calling it the Columbia Act. And what's so funny is I got to laugh out of this. I said, Washington, D.C. is always going to be Washington, D.C. They're going to make everything an acronym. And this is the acronym for the Columbia Act. It's the College Oversight and Legal Updates Mandating Bias Investigations and Accountability Act. How long did they come up with that one? Did it take for them to come up with that one? But basically, the plan is for this bill is to stick. I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted at this dude's hairline. I'm sorry. I was telling the brothers, I said, was he laying down or something? I'm sorry. It's just, how somebody will have a mole on their head and on their face or something. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just distracting. It's very distracting. I'm trying to get through this. But anyway, so their plan is to have their agents, if you will, on all of these college campuses and universities, and they are filling out monthly reports to make sure that these colleges and universities are compliant when it comes to anti-Semitism. And if they find that, hey, listen, you're not compliant, that college or university could lose their federal funding. All right. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what's going on. And so anyway, so we talked about that, but it appears that they have already started doing this thing here. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play for you. This video is about 4 minutes long. This is a video I found on TikTok, and they are going, and this woman, she's going to talk about her findings, University of Arizona, I believe. Anyway, so let me see if I can find that thing here. Is this it? This is it. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and put play on this. Take a listen. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about how big this is. It really is. All right. So let's go.
The University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona, has been monitoring and storing the online activity of some of its student groups and faculty. Hi, I'm Maura Abogado, and I'm an investigative reporter. Back in November, students and faculty at the University of Arizona were participating in different pro-Palestine rallies and walkouts and teach-ins, and I got a tip that the school was likely very, very closely monitoring the online activity of certain student groups and certain faculty on campus who were connected to these protests. So I did a records request, and, it's reasonable to assume that the school is going to keep tabs on what's happening. The school has a responsibility to keep everybody safe, and so it should know what's happening on campus and what's happening near campus. But some of what I found in these emails doesn't exactly seem to point to anything about safety. So I'm going to post 2 videos. This one is going to be about students, and the next one will be about faculty. Among the documents I obtained were emails from social media director Emily Stoltz, in which she's writing to this whole group of people, including the chief of police, explaining how she is cataloging each and every single post that she can find about a particular walkout. And instead of copying and pasting and preserving the related link, she's actually, at least in one case, downloading an entire TikTok video and retaining it offline. In a different email, Stoltz wrote that it was positive news that COBA, the Coalition of Black Students and Allies, was being shadow banned by Instagram. The police chief, Chris Olsen, writes back, "Thank you, Emily." It's really eye-opening to see the way the university is fixated on cataloging each and every single post that it can find about pro-Palestine rallies and protests. And part of what's unclear is where exactly this is being stored, who has access to it, and for how long. Can an employer ask to see it later down the line? Does a student even know if they're being monitored? And if so, do they have an ability to ask for it or ask to not be monitored in this way? All of this is unclear. And so I asked the university if it had any policy regarding the collection and retention of this kind of student data. And the short answer is no. And to be clear, this is surveillance. This is student surveillance at this public university. And the spokesperson that I was emailing with, Pam Scott, she calls this social media listening. It's also really eye-opening to see the white social media director at the University of Arizona characterize the shadow banning of a Black student group as positive news. Of course, I asked her about it. I wanted to know why she said it, but I also want to know, how does she even know that Instagram, this massive corporation, is shadow banning a student group on her campus? Stoltz never responded to me, and the university never explained why it's a positive development for this Black student group to be banned by Instagram. Pam Scott did write that, let me look it up. She said that the reference was to the overall amount of discussion about the rally. Right. So, the university isn't only monitoring the social media posts of the students on campus, but it also took and shared a private social media post of a faculty member. So if you want to hear more about that, go over to part 2.
All right. So that one, she's talking about a faculty member. Now, again, the backdrop of this overall is the whole, who stands with Palestine versus who stand with Israel, that kind of thing. But it's interesting, like she said, again, there's 2 things that comes out of this for me. Number one, that you're focusing on this particular group, this college campus group, they call themselves COBA. They said, I think, Coalition of Black Students and Allies. I think that's what it stands for. And basically, they're just a student group as far as I know. Like I said, again, I was not able to get, other than a Facebook page, I wasn't able to find too much on them. But I find it very interesting that this individual, and I'll bring her up on the screen here. It's right here. This is her right here. And she's a social media like strategist or whatever for University of Arizona, and she is and so you see her last name, Stoltz. Let's put it this way: that's not a that is not a Spanish name. Okay, I'll just put it that way. Okay, and and so she sent a copy because she was investigating this group. Okay, she's investigating this group. And let me back up. And like this woman was saying just now, I can kind of sort of understand, any college or university, just taking a cursory view of your activity, social media activity on campus, because, we in this day and time now where just a cursory view, of, just making sure, nobody's up here talking about building bombs or stuff like that kind of stuff, right? But when you are obtaining information and you're sending it to the police, stuff that's not even, nobody's breaking any laws, but you're sending it to the police. And not only in that, what she just said was she talked about how so a bit of good news is that this black organization was shadow banned by Instagram. Now, how, like she said, how the heck would you even know that? I mean, how would I know that? How would I know that someone, we can guess, if someone's shadow banned, but how can you be that definitive that they're shadow banned unless you got people in Instagram land or Meta, which they are all up in there too. So yeah, this is her right now, Emily C. Stoltz. Yep, we're gonna be watching you, and any other news that comes up, we're gonna make sure we're gonna still looking and see if there's anything else we can find on this individual here. But I wanted to put this out, for people, especially if you got family members or loved ones that go to, these colleges and universities. It goes along to what I was saying yesterday. I'm not telling you got to walk around in fear. Nobody's saying that. What I am saying is you just be wise and be smart on what you say, when you're out in public, even now when you're on social media more than ever. We've been saying that. Again, it's not, I have to keep emphasizing this because we got some people that got short fuses and they just hear through the lens of their emotion, a filter of their emotions, and think I'm saying, y'all, we got to walk around and be scared and all that. Nobody's saying that. I'm saying, no, you call it. If it's truth, then you stand on truth. If it's lies, then you call it out. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? But what I am saying is you got to be wise in how you do that, especially when you're out here on social media. You know what I mean? If you're in a position where you're looking for a job, you're out here job hunting, don't fill your timeline with a bunch of stuff that could cause a recruiter to go by your stuff. You know what I mean? Don't be posting up pictures and videos of that party you went to last week. You know what I mean? Just basic things that we should already be doing anyway. You know what I mean? But now it's this other element too. Stay engaged in the topic, but some things you don't have to put everything on social media, right? That's my point. But this is what's happening. This is what happened. And I'm telling you right now, this ain't the only place. But I don't want to stop the discussion there because I want to bring to your attention, these are things that we have discussed in the past, but I think this is a very good time to bring it back up again. Because again, this is what I keep saying when it comes to our people wanting to be these people. You do not have the organization skills or the money or the power that these people have. In this matrix system, they are the chosen ones. Okay? You can declare with your mouth all you want, but they are the chosen ones in this system. Okay? And they've been doing this thing for a very, very long time. Okay. So anyway, let me share with you. These are just some of the things that we've talked about in the past. Now, this is something here. This is called ActIL. I don't know if you've heard of this or not. It's called ActIL. And let me read it for you here. And they said ActIL-IL is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content such as boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, the BDS movement. Its activities have been referred to as an online propaganda campaign and a virtual situation room of pro-Israel experts. So this is a whole network that they have, a whole social media platform that's dedicated just to them. And this is where they use this to trade information that they collect on campuses and stuff all over. So whatever campus that you're on, a lot of these students, Jewish students, they have access to this. It's a platform. I think they've changed the name of it because, yeah, they said that they said on 2022, the app's users announced that the app will be shut down, but that users should continue to interact with ActIL's content on its other social media platforms. So they done moved on to something else. I guess people done caught on. So they have their own social media platform that they use to basically gather intel all throughout these different campuses and universities. ActIL directs its users to missions like, now listen to this. This is Wikipedia. They said to missions to like, comment on, and to share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asks users to flag, report, and respond to unfair criticisms of Israel. Users are guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points or share or upvoting an allied comment. The app also provides users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earn points, unlock badges, and have their scores displayed on leaderboards. Okay. This is the level of organization that they've been on. ActIL is a joint project of the private Israeli university, and they give an IDC Herzliya, and the U.S.-based Israel American Council. The Maccabee Task Force, one of Sheldon Alderson's foundations, is a major funder of ActIL. The organization behind ActIL is staffed by former intelligence officers and has a collegial relationship with the Israeli intelligence community. It has a close relationship with Israel's Ministry of Strategic Affairs, which combats the BDS movement, which it views as a threat. And then I just read to you, they said they shut that app down, back back in 2022, but they said on other social media platforms, which leads me to believe that they probably got some other ones that are just like this. They just kind of changed up there. So this is the level of organization that these people have been operating on. All right. Let me look at this one here. I'm just doing this in real time here. I don't know what this is. Let me look at this one here. This is called the Megaphone Desktop Tool. Was a Windows action alert tool developed by Give Israel Your United Support and distributed by World Union of Jewish Students, World Jewish Congress, the Jewish Agency for Israel, World Zionist Organization, Stand With Us, Hasbara Fellowships, Honest Reporting, and other pro-Israel public relations organizations. The tool was released in July during the 2006 Lebanon war, and they said by 2011 the tool was no longer available. And then they said it's a news feed that's still available. So these people, when they organize, you think they're just walking around and all, and that's it. No, they have an organization. They have all in networks, okay, where they organize, they come together and they report things. Okay, this is how they operate. Everything to the YouTube overseers that I'm presenting to you this evening in this broadcast is coming from their own sources. This is not me making this up. I have to keep saying this over and over again. And so anyway, so let me continue on. Then I'll have something else to say on that. But let me continue because it doesn't stop there. Okay. Told you we're going to look at everything here. All right. So check this out. This is another thing right here. It's all tied to, again, you know, we started at that's the university here in Arizona, but that's just not a one-off. You need to understand that this is how they've been moving. All right. The FBI and the ADL working together to fight hate. And then they says, and this was a speech that was given by James Comey when he was the director of the FBI. And let's see. He says, okay, anyway, I don't have to read that. That was like a speech he gave to the ADL. All right. Let me go on to the next one here. Now, this isn't Washington Post. This is back in 1993. Jewish group tactics investigated. In April, San Francisco police investigators searched 2 California offices of the ADL, B'nai B'rith, a respected civil rights organization that they suspected had been secretly monitoring the activities of thousands of political activists. All right. They left with boxes of files a prosecutor later described in court as contraband, including leaked copies of confidential law enforcement reports, fingerprint cards, driver license, photographs, and individual criminal histories drawn from police records. I'm telling you, this is how they move. They also seized pink copies of internal reports signed Cal, a code name police had been told for San Francisco art collector Roy H. Bullock. When police questioned him, Bullock said that he had worked for 32 years as one of the ADL's chief intelligence gatherers on the West Coast, carefully following the movements of skinheads, white supremacists, Arab Americans, and critics of the Israeli government. That's everyone else. While the ADL praises Bullock's contributions, its officials say it operated as an independent contractor. He was a freelancer for the ADL for a number of years, ADL lawyer Barbara Wall said. All right. And then they go in and they talk about a lot of other stuff they were doing, okay, working hand in hand. I got more stuff. That's why I'm just trying to get through it. 25-year 25-year FBI veteran joins ADL as security vice president. I'm trying to tell you, this is not, they work hand in hand with the FBI. And what this lady was doing, that's low-key FBI stuff she was doing. And what was she doing? Caught again, in case people just coming in, she was caught reporting the activities of a black student organization on the campus of University of Arizona, and she was sending her findings to the police. And the police were like, much appreciated. And they were not doing anything illegal, but she's just filing reports and sending it to the police. And what we're doing now, again, is we're going through the history so that people can understand that that wasn't just a one-off, but this is how these people been moving. All right. So anyway, they said Rusty Rosenthal, a 25-year FBI veteran who led the Bureau's Israel office, has joined the ADL as Vice President of Security and Law Enforcement. He will focus on the nonprofit partnerships with federal, state, and local law enforcement and on the security of its staff, the ADL announced. Here's another one here. FBI files reveal ADL's long history spying on peace, pro-Palestinian, and Arab diplomat groups. I noticed they're not really saying black folks. But what I will tell you is to point your attention to is this. There were many of these individuals that were part of the civil rights movement. If you think they were just there just to march, you got another thing coming. See, black folks, we like to show. We like to sit up there and be all, oh, look at all we got the rainbow. We got all of these people marching with us. All right. We got everybody. We all just sitting up there. We shall overcome. And we just like to show. But these individuals, they're like, okay, we're here, but we also taking notes too. And we taking a lot of notes. Anyway, the following is being released by, and this is back in 2013. The following is being released by the Institute for Research, Middle Eastern Policy. FBI files about the Anti-Defamation League have been released under the Freedom of Information Act, now online, and they give the link here, that reveal tactics of the ADL operatives working undercover to infiltrate and neutralize groups the ADL deem subversive or hostile to Israel. Files also reveal the ADL's long-term and often unsuccessful efforts to forge and leverage and publicize former liaisons with the FBI. And they go in and talk about it. Now, if you follow these links, thankfully, I'll go ahead and put this on the in the chat for you. It's a gold mine of many reports that they were able to retrieve, going all the way back in the days. I'm talking about typewriter documents. And how they would just just report after report after report on different events and organizations. It's all in there. So I'm not making any of this up. This is all public info. All of it is. Okay. So yeah, so what we just did is talked about this individual again, who basically is working on a college campus as like a social media, person, but she's actually reporting on activities. And they've been on the whole BDS thing as far as like, monitoring anybody that's saying anything derogatory about Israel. But in her case, in addition to that, she was monitoring a black student organization. And then she forwarded her findings to the local police. And so what we just did is go through and show you, to widen the scope a little bit more, to show you that this isn't an isolated incident, but instead this is something that has gone on for and it continues to happen for a very long time. And why we have to be extremely careful, cautious out here. And really that's it. I think about oftentimes the many videos and stuff I put up. I say, I guess they got a file on me, but so what? You know what I'm saying? So what? That's why, anytime I get behind this right here or get in front of this, I have to really think about what I'm going to say and what I'm going to present. And it's called counting the cost. And but what I've learned is you got to learn how to separate your emotion from the actual story. You know what I'm saying? Because if you put too much of your emotion in there and then you start calling folks certain names and all that stuff, then it's a recipe to get you moved off of a platform immediately. Ultimately, they're going to do what they want anyway. But, you have to learn how to tread, but at the same time, not down or belittle what you're trying to convey or what you feel needs to be conveyed to your target audience. So we're not compromising on that at all. We're just saying you got to, as a people, we have to be, in these times, we definitely got to be before it leaves the mouth gate, we got to make sure we think about it. Okay. And so I was going to talk about just a few more words as far as like their organization and stuff is concerned. And again, as a people, now I'm talking about our people. I'm not telling you that we got to copy them. Okay. I do not want to copy them. Okay. In no way, shape or form. I don't want to do that. Okay. What I want is to convince our people to stop trying to do it. Okay. When it's not going to happen. Someone asked me today, they said, well, what was it? What was the question? It was something like, cause I gave an answer to someone's comment. I said, oh, they said, why do you think we hate ourselves? That's what it was. Cause I've been talking about, our biggest problem is self-hatred. And I said, and they asked, why do you think we hate ourselves? And why is that such a big issue? And my answer was, I just pretty much said, because somewhere down the line, we convinced ourselves what they were telling us about who we are and what our culture is. Somewhere down the line, we believed it. And unfortunately, we didn't have the right or enough elders or both that were in place to contradict that and to brush that to the side and to solidify who we are. That's why we're at this point right now where it just feels like we're just all over the place. So I don't expect, like, I can get on here all day. There's a lot of people say, see, you see how they organize? See, this is what we got to do. You can't get people who are broken, where there's a high level of self-hatred. You can't flip a switch and then all of a sudden think folks are going to just fall in line like that. What you're looking at is something these folks have been doing for hundreds of years. Once you start digging into the history, and they have a lot of practice at this. I'm not saying that black people will never work together. That's why I did the video a while back. I said your focus should be on smaller groups and not thinking this Moses thing where some leader is going to rise up and give the whole message that black people all of a sudden going to, we're going to click in and we're going to all be marching on one accord. Don't look for that. But what you can do is build your own networks and then work from there and make sure those people that are in your networks are people and you can trust. And because you built a trust with them, you got to watch yourself. And even though we're talking about this certain group here, you got other people too that, they act just like them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let's move on to the next thing here. This is our final story for this evening here. Unfortunately, I had to do a song about this one, man. This is
The sweat on my brow, it tells the long tale of a hard-working soul with a heart that's grown frail.
I had to make a slave song for this one.
Oh, won't you hear my cry? I'm working hard, but it's struggle to get by. In this land far away, I'm feeling so alone.
I'm just getting the next story up here. Just give me a moment.
For a place I once called home. Yeah, won't you hear my cry? I'm working hard, but it's struggle to get by.
And while I'm getting things up here, make sure if you haven't done so already, if you didn't take notice, we did we uploaded the latest installment of the Who in the L series over on our community page. If you go to our community page, I'll bring it up on the screen for you. Let me get it up here. Yeah, this is our Who in the L series, where we take a closer look at the Bible, but we're looking at it from a historical perspective. The Bible is not our source of history. We're comparing the Bible and holding it up to actual factual history, and what stands, what doesn't. But we've been digging, and then this is from our series that we did some time ago. It's a very long series, but what I did was I split it up into bite-sized pieces, about a half an hour a piece, and it allows you to digest it a lot better. And so this is the latest installment that we have on here. It's the Who in the L series podcast. We just have that up. Make sure you subscribe to that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next story here. And wow, I was playing that slave song here, because once you see this story here, you're gonna understand why. All right, let's take let me see, which one do I go with here? Okay, let's start with this story here. All right, here we go. Malawi Israel signed labor export deal on farm workers. All right, this story came out April the 25th, 2024, this year. All right, and it says Malawi and Israel have signed a new deal for Malawi to send unskilled laborers to Israel. It's funny how they word that. It's funny how they word it like that. But anyway, the agreement is a departure from a previous arrangement where nearly 1,000 laborers were sent to work in Israel through private labor agents. I wonder who they were. Malawi officials say the new deal will help address challenges workers were facing under the previous arrangement. The memorandum of understanding comes a month after Malawi's parliament allowed the government to proceed with its program to send laborers to work on farms and industries in Israel. I do understand, people need money, but it's the same thing with a lot of the people coming from Central and South America and feeling like they got to come all the way up here, and work so that they can make money and send down here. This is what I'm saying. This matrix is so deadly because you move all this way away from your own culture, your homes, and all of that to build up another man's kingdom. You send money back home, but your home is still in shambles. You see how that works? And it's not just Malawi, but this happens all over. Where people come, this is a trend that's been going on for hundreds of years. You leave, but there's no plan on going back a lot of times. It's just pretty much you come here, make your money, you're sending money back, but the money that's going there, it ain't, there's a whole trend that I've seen on, was it on YouTube? I think it was on YouTube, where you got people who are immigrants who are doing videos now where they're putting their families on blast because they're saying, I'm tired of sending all this money back home and y'all fighting over it. And when I get back, I'm like, what did it money even do? And so more and more I'm starting to see, at least on social media, where these individuals are saying, I'm not sending any more money back home. So the complexities of that issue is really something to watch. But at the end of the day, it's sad because these home countries, they never fully benefit from this arrangement. Anyway, let's continue here. Currently, Malawi is expected to send about 3,000 unskilled laborers to work on various agriculture farms. Most of the workers will replace Palestinians who no longer work in Israel because of tensions sparked by the war between Israel and Hamas. So in case anybody was wondering about, I wonder how Israel is surviving picking cotton, picking whatever it is that they need picking without the Palestinians. Well, it's quite simple. They just looked south and said, let's go with the darker ones. Malawian government spokesperson Moses Kunkuyu was part of a delegation that traveled to Israel to sign the deal. During the televised press conference in, Lilongwe, Kunkuyu said, Kunkuyu, said the deal puts into place regulations regarding workers' rights. Now, I want you to pay attention to all this because this ain't the only article on this. We want to see that the citizens benefit their rights are not trampled upon, and that each party of the agreement sticks to the provision of the agreements. Kunkuyu said, it is very easy to depart from the arrangement when there is no bigger force involved. So the government is involved, and even challenges that these young people did raise when we visited them will not be there. Kunkuyu said some of the laborers in Israel told the delegation that some agents were not honoring terms and conditions in the contracts they signed. Nearly 1,000 laborers. Let me go back that again, because I want to make sure you remember this. Kunkuyu said that some of the laborers, that means his people in Israel, told the delegation that some agents were not honoring terms and conditions in the contracts they signed. Just make a mental note of that, okay? Nearly 1,000 laborers were recently sent to work in Israel through labor agents. All right. And then it goes on. The article is basically saying that, the relationship is just going to continue. Now, this article, again, was posted April the 25th. This article was just posted today. Okay. Okay. Wow. You got a week or so that has changed things very quickly here. Malawi breaks silence on Malawians arrested in Israel. Already arrested. Jeez. Anyway, Malawi government has finally spoken out on the arrest of Malawian farm workers in Israel, clarifying that 12 out of the 40 individuals detained are from the country. According to Minister of Information Moses Kunkuyu, the 40 individuals representing 13 nationalities were arrested for leaving their designated workstations and seeking employment in town without proper authorization. Kunkuyu revealed that the group, including 12 Malawians, had abandoned their farm work to seek jobs at a bakery in Bnei Brak, violating Israel's labor laws and regulations. The minister emphasized the importance of Malawians abroad adhering to the laws and regulations of their host countries, urging them to respect the terms of the employment and avoid engaging in illegal activities. Now, to me, thousands of miles away, that sounds a lot like you throwing your own people under the bus. But let's continue. This development comes as a reminder to Malawians seeking employment opportunities abroad to ensure they comply with the laws and regulations of the host countries to avoid such incidences and maintain a positive reputation for the country. Now, again, they stopped working at that location, wherever it was, picking cotton, picking corn, whatever it was they were doing, and they were looking for employment in town, because I think this article actually goes into it. Malawi and Israel signs a labor export deal in 2022, allowing Malawi to send unskilled laborers, blah, blah, blah. All right, let me see. I'll get to this part here. Under the deal, Malawian workers were expected to work in Israel for a maximum of 5 years with a minimum salary of $1,500 a month. The deal also includes provisions for workers' safety, health insurance, and protection from exploitation. However, the deal has faced criticism and controversy, with some opposition politicians and human rights organizations expressing concern about the secrecy surrounding the deal and potential risk to workers' safety. Hold the phone for a second. Why is there secrecy surrounding the deal? If I'm the president of a country and I am signing a deal that my people can come to your country and work for them, there ain't going to be no secrets, period. Everything going to be out in the open unless you're doing something dirty. And that's exactly what this sounds like. And the fact that, according to this article, you have multiple organizations that were very concerned and were highlighting this, it raises a lot more questions as far as I'm concerned. The Malawian government has emphasized its commitment to protecting workers' rights and ensuring their safety in Israel, and has established a committee to monitor the welfare of Malawian workers abroad. Concerns raised, they said the arrest of the Malawian workers has raised concerns about the treatment of foreign workers in Israel and the effectiveness of the labor deal in protecting their rights. Human rights organizations have called on the Malawian government to take action to ensure the safe return of the detained workers and to review the labor deal to prevent similar incidents in the future. And then it goes on. So again, here we have yet another situation. Here we have another situation where we have African leaders that are sending their own people to work for people that have a long history of not seeing African migrants on a positive note. Again, go to their sources. This is in the times of Israel. 52% of Israeli Jews agree African migrants are a cancer. You're going to send your people to a country where in their own newspaper, they're saying that more than half of the country. Now, this is back in 2012. So, would time even change that? Don't know. Doubt it. Over half of the country saying that African migrants are a cancer. And your dumb behind is going to send your own people to this country to work for them. And you're talking, and on top of that, you got organizations that are saying, hey, Mr. Malawi president, you're gonna have to step up. I mean, how embarrassing is that? Because they're saying that because we're looking at this thing and why is everything a secret? So, this kind of stuff, it makes you angry. It makes you very angry because what it shows is after all of this time, a lot of people, it's like they still haven't even learned. I mean, you can go through colonialism, you can go through slavery and all that. And it's like our people still haven't even learned. You will send your folks over to this country. And not to mention all the other stuff that's been going on over there when it comes to black workers. You're going to send your people over there knowing that full well. I would find it very difficult. You don't know that. I know they got a piece of internet over there in Malawi, so I'm sure they're able to pull that up. You're going to send your people over there to work. Things are that bad. You're going to send them over to that. And see, here's the thing. This opens up all kinds of different conversations that I'm not going to get into right now. But, this is why when I hear some of our people talking about this is why we need to go over there and because that's the promised land and we need to do this is the promised land. The continent is the promised land. And you're telling people to go over there. Again, I'm not saying don't go to Africa. OK, don't get in your feelings, y'all. OK, there are many places in Africa that I know there are very wonderful and beautiful places that you should visit. And I got no issues with that. There's some people I know that are watching me right now. You may be watching me from the continent. You may be an expat that moved over there and you're like, listen, I'm having the time of my life. I'm loving it over here. That's great. That's good. This ain't for you. OK, so you have to rush to any kind of defense here. What I'm talking about are people who will jump to conclusions on religious reasons. In other words, they didn't do any research. They didn't do anything. They just think they're going to get on a plane, get over there, and all of a sudden everything's just going to fall in place. That is the people I'm talking about. Now, outside of that, if you got all your stuff together, then good for you. You understand what I'm saying? But other than that, if you just jumping over there just to jump over there, they got a whole lot of we got problems here too. Don't get me wrong. But it's not going to be Wonderland when you get over there either. There's a lot of things that they are still, unfortunately, it's just caught in a cycle. And it's a very bad self-destructive cycle. Here you have the president of this country, the leader of this country, sending his people to a very racist situation and keeping the deal secret. I mean, I'd be pissed off if I was a Malawian person, if I saw that, if I knew that, because you're taking advantage of the situation. You're taking advantage of the poverty of your people and their desperation. You got people in these countries that are very desperate and they need help. And the handout situation doesn't work. It's, but you need leadership that's going to say, you know what, the heck with that. Let's start focusing on what we can do here. You know what I'm saying? And no, I would contend you don't need money. You don't need money, and you don't need their money. Okay, let me just be clear with that. You don't need their money. All it takes is a few people who are determined and say, hey, listen, we need a hospital. Okay, let's get all the people together here that are good at medical stuff. All right, listen, you ain't gonna, if you're looking for a big salary, I can't help you with that. But what we can do is provide housing for you. We can provide some basic things. If you're willing to stick this thing out, we all gonna eat at the end of the day. It's that kind of determination that we need in this time. And it's not just for people in Malawi. This is all over. I'm talking about our people. We have to have this kind of mindset, because if we don't, and we're always looking for, well, I would start this thing, but I need the government to give me a loan, because if I don't get a loan, I ain't going to be able to do. We got to get out of that. That's the thing that's kept us entrapped for a very long time. And it keeps our people, unfortunately, in these desperate situations where at the end of the day, what's losing is your own identity and your culture, and so this is why we try to encourage people. Hey, listen, you don't need their stuff. You don't need anything they can give you. It's in you. We have it. We have the answer. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I think that's all I have for y'all. There was just those two stories I have. So yeah, so keep your eyes and ears out if you got people out here on these colleges and universities and stuff like that, because these people out here, bro, they're not playing, and neither should we. So anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and leave off, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to this broadcast. You guys take care. Get off of that plantation. Get out of that plantation mindset. And it's time to come on, y'all. It's time to come up higher. It's time to come up, y'all. You guys take care, and I'll see you the next time.
I'm working so hard, but my heart's in decay.